Ooh, welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother 17. My name's Jacob Harple, and joining with me tonight is the always fantastic, always fabulous Keith Guerrero. How are you doing tonight, Keith, or today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I got the scoop.
You do have the scoop. You've got the inside scoop. Speaking of scoops, also joining with us, as always, is the ecstatic, the erratic Aaron Nunley. Aaron, how are you doing on this fine day?
I'm doing fine on this fine day. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. The pleasure is all yours. All right, so we are finally done with the premiere. It's been a long 48 hours, but we've made it through the BB17 premiere. And we got introduced to the rest of the cast, and also we're introduced to the 15th and 16th house guests. But we'll get to that in a second. Aaron, what did you feel about last night's episode?
I don't know.
Did you like that group better than the first group?
There are people I would switch out. Like, I like the first group, and then I just switch out a couple of people from the second group, and that'll be my final 8 right there.
Okay. Keith, how did you feel about the second group?
So the answer is no. The first group is better. The second group couldn't handle an episode by themselves, which is why they took so many people from the first group's DRs to fill it up. And that's why the second group wasn't the first group, because they would suffer. They make the nation suffer from everybody's lack of compassion. Could you imagine Becky explaining things like Shelley did? She wouldn't be able to because she has no personality. So.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just sneezing because I completely disagree. I loved last night's group. I felt like the second group was definitely more of like the quirky group, and maybe that's why I was just more entertained by them. Like Jason was definitely in a league of his own energy-wise. Really great to see John. I'm really interested about Vanessa. I really want to talk about her later tonight. But I don't know. I think they're two very different groups. Maybe the first night is just kind of more of the chill, laid back, popular kind of cliquey group, and then last night's group was kind of just Revenge of the Nerds in a way.
So what you're telling me is Meg is popular.
I mean, that doesn't mean she's good at the game. So I guess the first thing I want to talk about is the 15th and 16th house guests. We have Jeff and Jackie from this last season of The Amazing Race. Since I know that all three of us are avid watchers of The Amazing Race, Keith, what was your reaction when you found out that this was going to be the rest of the house?
I thought it was hilarious because it's like they're taking notes from orgs that they're like, oh, in orgs there are pre-existing relationships, so let's apply that here in CBS where these people traveled around the world together. Of course, it's going to put a huge target on them. I think it's cute, the little banter that, Big Brother contestants go on Amazing Race. We can do the vice versa, but we really don't need. We really don't need anybody from Amazing Race to go on Big Brother. It makes sense for Big Brother to go to Amazing Race. Doesn't make sense for Amazing Race to go on Big Brother.
Is that a double standard, Aaron?
I don't think it's right either way. If I cared about The Amazing Race, and if I watched Survivor more than I used to, I'd be so annoyed. I mean, I am annoyed, but Big Brother contestants going on Survivor and then going on Amazing Race, or Survivor contestants or relatives coming into Big Brother house. It's so annoying. CBS, you don't have to just keep going through your 3 shows and just swapping people out because newsflash, there are billions of people in the world, and there are millions of people who would like to be on these different shows. You don't have to keep on recycling them. So I'm not happy about it.
Keith, what was your first impression on just Jeff and Jackie as individuals? Not so much that they were from The Amazing Race, but because we did a cast breakdown of all of the 14 house guests, we didn't really get a chance to talk about Jeff and Jackie. So what were the vibes that you were getting from those two?
Well, Jeff is definitely the jock type, but like a lot of people I saw on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure we can all agree, he kind of lacks in the personality department. But that's probably good for him. He'll be able, because the whole point of Big Brother is to just assimilate It's not to not make any waves. Jackie, I love. I love her in the confessionals. I love her in the DR because she's just so like over the top. Like I needed somebody like that. That fire. When she was hanging on to the we'll get into that, but like it was just hilarious. So I like Jackie. Not big a fan of Jeff, but yeah, that's
how do you feel, Aaron?
Not as passionate about Jackie as he is, but I do like Jackie. Jeff seems very scripted in the DR, so it really turns me off to like listening to him. I can see Jackie pulling a June G on him, where like he thinks that they're closer than they really are. Like she'll drop him in a hot minute type of deal. I'm sorry if I'm doing a throwback, you know, shout out people.
No, I really like that comparison. I think that's a good comparison.
Okay, well, that's what I think.
Yeah, because I kind of get that vibe too. Because Jeff has like this attitude where he's like, oh yeah, like I can use her if I want to, but I definitely think Jackie's gonna be the one calling the shots out of those two. Aaron, do you feel like it won't be long for the other house guests to probably nominate them, or do you think that they'll be able to kind of blend in with the house pretty quickly?
Well, with the battle block coming back, any excuse to put anyone on the block is a good excuse, especially for the two people who won HOH. They seem like the type of people who are just going to grab at anything, and whatever the house wants, the house will get type of vibe. So, yeah, they might be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the battle of the block is going to help or hurt Jackie and Jeff's chances, Keith?
Going to hurt them because there's 4 spots that need to be filled, and there's only 2 of y'all. So that whole like couple strategy in Big Brother gets thrown out the window with Battle of the Blocks in there. So
you just split them out.
Yeah,
you put them on the same team. They can't win together.
Yeah, they're definitely. Yeah, I feel like if someone does decide to target them, it's going to be like kind of a whole house needs to get together and do it, because if one person just nominates both of them, I think Jackie and Jeff would do really, really well in a battle of the block. You know, especially just from working together on the Amazing Race. You would have to split them up and then just try and get one out. So it'll be interesting. I think the battle of the block is actually going to help them though, because I think it's, in a normal format, you could just nominate both of them and then you ensure that one leaves. But in the battle of the block, it's definitely, it's very tricky. And even if you split them up, you still you automatically guarantee one is safe and then the other one just has to win veto. So I don't know. I think that might put people off from targeting them right away. I think if Battle of the Block is only for this week, I could see Jackie and Jeff maybe going to the block maybe like week 3, week 4. But I don't know. It's interesting. Very interesting. So let's kind of talk about some of the individual house guests that we saw. I want to talk about Vanessa. Keith, I know that you're a big fan of Vanessa, so I just want to I want to get your reaction on what we saw from her tonight and how you feel about her as a game player.
Love her. I love her DRs. Oh my gosh, she's so smart. And just everything she said, I was just like snapping at the television. I was living for her confessionals, and I wouldn't expect it. I just don't expect it from Vanessa to be that dynamic, and she is bringing it. She's serving it. So I just hope that she continues and makes it to the very end. I mean, I want her to do well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about her sitting out of the HOH competition?
Oh, I think it's interesting that both poker-related professional people were the ones that took the gamble on sitting out.
Ooh,
and, you like that? those faces that I threw at you?
We didn't even write that down. That was completely
So yeah, I think Vanessa's just ready to play. She's ready to roll the dice, and I'm eager to see how it works out for her.
Cool. Aaron, which out of the 6 house guests that we were introduced to last night stood out to you the most, or who were you enjoying watching last night?
Obviously, Jason. He's my favorite. I don't know. He just, even though before seeing him and just his interviews and his information, I was really like a fan of his. He is like so much more high energy and outgoing and out there than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be a little bit more, yeah, like try to try to be like the poker players type deal. But no, he's like out there, and I really like him, and I love it, and I'm rooting for him.
Are you worried that his outgoing personalities kind of reflect kind of like Frankie last year? Do you think he's maybe being a little bit too outgoing?
Not for this house, I don't think, because there are other people who are also as high energy or more annoying. So I don't think it's gonna hurt him, at least not right now.
Yeah, I think he's more like outgoing and relatable, whereas Frankie was outgoing and cliquey.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with both of you guys. And plus, I think the house overall was a lot more laid back or not as attention seeking. And so a big personality like Frankie Grande just kind of soaked up everything. Whereas I think that everyone's very high energy this season for the most part. So I feel like Jason, even though he's at such a high level, there's not as much of a gap between him and the rest of the house. So he's not as polarizing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, what did you think about Jason during this HOH? Obviously, he won the HOH. Did you like that he was so like, I'm taking this HOH, this is mine, I'm doing it? Do you think that was needed? Do you think it was a good move? What were your thoughts watching Jason in that competition?
I don't think it was needed. I'm not like disappointed or like I don't feel bad that he won HOH or anything. I don't know. After a while, it's just I feel like he's gonna get that cute puppy like feel from everybody. Like he's just so cute and he's like aggressive and he's like, I'm gonna take this HOH. You can just go. You can go, Jackie. You can just go. Type of deal. Like I don't know. I like
she's hanging on by like her fingernails.
Like,
nominate you for
I don't know. I think just the way that he comes off, it wasn't like a I don't know a type of person that would say those same exact lines, but you're like, I hate you. Like, I don't want you to win. Right. You can just go. Like, I don't know. Something about his personality makes it okay for what he said and how he said it.
I like the reasoning that he brought in. He's like, I want to win this HOH because if there's a bro thing going down, I want to be a part of it. I want people to come to me. What'd you think about that strategy, Keith, and just kind of Jason overall in that competition?
Well, he knew that James was the HOH prior. So if there was a bro thing, he definitely... Like, he came into the house not wanting that to happen. He wanted to work with the women and have an all-girls thing going on. The gay glue of the friendship, even though that wasn't a popular alliance. So the fact that he had that information and that, like, based on the information that's in the house, I think it was a good decision to, like, compete hard to win HOH. And the fact that he won, I think he could position himself well. I don't know I think he'll be more influential than James in their collaboration and who's going to nominate who decision-making. So I think he'll be able to push his agenda a little bit on James.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's more? Would you give an advantage to the people that come in first or the people that come in second, as far as like these two groups, Keith?
I recently saw on Twitter from Big Brother Canada 3, they did the same thing where they brought in like 6 people one day and then like 6 people the next day. And the 6 people that went into the house first were a good number of the final 6. Yeah. So I think it really does show that time is everything inside the Big Brother house, and the more time you have to stay in there, the more time you have to build relationships, the more it just becomes your home and your territory. So I think that the first group will have a better shot at winning than the second group. The second group already has an uphill battle with the deficit of not being in for as long.
Do you agree with that, Aaron?
Yeah. I mean, there are only like little things that are advantageous for the second group, like what you said with Jason. The information he knew who was HOH, so like if he wanted to be on that same level type of deal, like that helped him decide that he wanted HOH. But yeah, it doesn't. There's very little that helps the second group versus the first group.
And can I also mention, like, if there is that survivor like paranoia of like the first group tribe versus the second group tribe, the second group's outnumbered. It's 8 people against 6 people against 2 people because the 2 Amazing Race people aren't part of that second group. So you're outnumbered. You're basically going to have to assimilate to this group that already was forming and norming and performing and storming on day 1. So yeah, I think the second group has it worse, has it tougher than the first group.
Yes, you can mention that. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting dynamic. I'm really curious to find out what the actual time gap is between those two groups, because it's a long time, then obviously some bonds are going to get formed. So I don't know. That's something I'm really interested in. Let's talk about. I mean, is there anything? Did Becky stand out at you at all?
Becky didn't stand out at all. No. It's kind of sad how little she stood out.
Let's talk about John, because I really like John. John might be my favorite. He was definitely my favorite out of the group. He might be my favorite in the game. He's just got like this quirky voice, and I just find him so likable and so hilarious. But I don't know how well he's going to mesh with this house. Aaron, what were your thoughts on John last night?
He's not as memorable as I would have liked him to be, because I'm trying to think about what I remember seeing in him, and I remember what Davon said about him, just about him, like, you're not a doctor,
you're not a dentist,
you're not a dentist. So that's literally the most I can really remember about him. But there was a lot of things going on. Like, we had the two like intruders, like they kind of took my focus away from all the other people.
John just did a lot of descriptions of like the house. He was like, "Oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce." Like,
yeah, like that's something else.
Sounds like Bobcat Goldthwait. He's just like, "Oh man, I don't really know, but I'm the rock star artist," and it's just like it's like one of those squeaky toys almost.
I
don't know. What did you, Keith? What do you think about John as well as Steve? I think two very quirky guys that might know a lot about the game, but with a group like this, it's just. I think the potential for them to be kind of outcasts is pretty high. What do you think?
Well, I already saw a video clip of John flossing his teeth. It's just so perfect. And everybody loves teeth, according to John. And then for Steve, I think he's super analytical, socially awkward, but he wants to do well, and he wants to be part of that social group. So I think he has that going for him. Whereas John, he doesn't give a crap what you think, because he thinks what he thinks. Like he was talking about why other people were going to the dentist to like make the world a better place, and he was like, "I want the money," which is hilarious. So John's gonna do his own thing. It doesn't matter what everybody else is saying, which will make him a very interesting head of household in the future. And then as far as Steve goes, he's just gonna play it like, really, really safe.
And now that we know who the two HOHs are, who stands out to you as someone that might be in a little bit of trouble this week?
I still feel Meg, because I still don't like her, but also she just is not. Like, it was really funny for her to judge. I don't remember if she was judging John or she was judging Steve, but she like made a comment about one of them. I can't remember which one. I think it was Steve, about hugging her or whatever. And I was like, but you're like the most boring person in your group. And I thought that was supposed to go to homegirl that's obsessing over Clay. I'm not going to get people's names down for a while.
Okay, Shelly.
I thought I was going to go to Shelly, and Shelly's been actually more like interesting than you, Meg.
Yeah, Meg.
Yeah, Meg. I can see Meg going up, and I can see Steve. I can see them both going up.
I'm a little worried for Steve because, we just agreed he's pretty socially awkward, but he also was the first person out of that second group to fall out of the HOH. In the first week, you can nominate someone from sneezing. You're looking for any excuse that you can in that first week to put someone on the block. So I'm really nervous about him. I agree with Meg. We don't really know how well she's kind of, I guess, socialized with people in the house, but maybe it's just for us. But I just find her so annoying. Like, I find Meg and Jace, for me, might be the two most annoying people in the house. What about you, Keith? Who's rubbing you the wrong way?
Liz. Liz is rubbing me the wrong way.
Who?
Liz. The so-called twin.
Portia?
Lulia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So watching Liz yesterday, she was memorable, I would say, but for all the wrong reasons. I feel like whenever I see her interact with men, it just makes it feel sleazy. Like I can't stand it. It's like when she was introducing, oh, this is James, this is the HOH of the season, or this is James, this is the HOH of the season. It was really just uncomfortable for me to watch, and it makes me not want to root for her. But she's on my team, so I will. So yeah, I don't like Liz really at all. But she's a competitor. She was hanging with her bare arms on the pole for as long as she could. We could tell she's done that before.
Even though she's being really shady to Jason, and he won. But yeah, I'm also not that big of a fan of Liz.
Honestly, forgot about Liz until you said her name, Keith.
I know. That's why I brought her up.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome for the opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the nominations look like. You know, it should be interesting. But before we wrap it up, I just want to, now that we've kind of gotten a taste of everyone in the house a little bit, I want to get winner picks, or who do you think is going to do the I guess the best this season. So Keith, who you got for your winner pick right now?
For now, I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna give it to Shelly. I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon.
What about you, Aaron?
I'm going to hope and pray that it's Davon.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Jason.
No.
You know what? I really like Davon too. She's playing the game maybe a little too much. I feel like she's kind of overthinking a little bit, but I'd rather her overthink a little bit than not think at all. So it's refreshing to just kind of see that thought process and that gameplay going on. I just hope that she can kind of tone it down just a little bit, and then I think she has a really, really good shot. But yeah, Davon's definitely my favorite.
You heard it here first, Davon. Keep it Big Brother basic.
Keep it, yes, basic. Do we have any questions, Keith?
On Twitter, we do, from PandaBear_ here.
Our #1 fan.
All of our fan. 2 nights in, do you think there's already a bit of overload on the twists? Jacob, what do you think?
Yes and no. Like, it is, like, the amount of twists is really exhausting, but it's the beginning of the season. They kind of want to just blow it all up and just throw it all out there. My biggest concern is whether or not Battle of the Block is going to be a reoccurring thing. If Battle of the Block is just this week, I'm pretty satisfied with everything at this point. If we're going to be dealing with it for 3/4 of the season, then yeah, not a fan.
Gotcha. And can I switch the question to you, Aaron, or do you have something to say?
Well, I just wanted to mention that on night 1 or premiere night, Julie did say, like, every week. She didn't say Battle of the Block is happening this week. She said Battle of the Block will happen every week.
But then again, this is Big Brother. They listen to the backlash of the fan favorite Battle of the Block Twitterverse, and they can make changes.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Aaron, from @PandaBear_ here. What improvements or changes from Big Brother 5's Twin Twist do you think that this season's Big Brother Twin Twist could implement?
Improvements. So I don't know if that's like the house guests or like
how can they make it unique to this season?
I mean, you can pick someone whose twin doesn't really look like them.
That's a challenge.
So that's something. I don't know. Like, it was really good in season 5. I don't see how you can really top it.
So you wouldn't make any changes from season 5 to now? Were there anything about season 5's Twin Twist that didn't really work?
They were crazy when they got in together, but that's them. But no, the twist was really good.
Okay, we've got another question from a Molly Rant. She wants to know, what are the chances of a female alliance this season, Keith? What do you think?
My gosh, we're pushing for it so much. They cast people like Jason who wants it. They cast people like Audrey who wants to have like a woman to win. And the only really downfall inside the women that I see is Liz. Like, if they just get Liz out week 1, then they're good. They're solid. I think that they have a really strong chance of winning. So, yeah, and I think a lot of them are really good competitors, too. Like, it's not like season 16, the Detonators just dominating every competition. I feel like the women have a chance to win competitions and make it competitive and fun. So I just hope we don't see a gender divide. That's what I hope. I hope that like all the pairings or alliances are kind of like mixed, just based on personalities as opposed to, oh, we're women.
Which is exactly what Big Brother usually was supposed to be about. It's become this. It's become the real world Logos challenges. You have to cut out the fat.
Trim the fat.
Okay, we've got another question from Alan Fogg. He wants to know, who do we think will bring the lowest entertainment value to the show outside gameplay?
Becky, hands down. She has no personality. She couldn't even describe the house in a way that made her relatable. So I think that Becky has a really strong shot at. I'm getting Kara vibes from her. Like, I feel like she could be Kara. She's pretty. Yeah, she's nice. She can sit in the house with us, but she's gonna go out week 1 because she's not here to play. So Becky, hands down. She's a lamp.
I agree. I was thinking for a second it could be Steve, but no, Steve is so socially awkward that you're gonna be cringing and watching still, but you don't even remember what's her face. Like, that's what's gonna be. She's gonna hit the block and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that you're still in the house.
Like, you don't feel any impression of her when she's on the block. Like, she's sitting on the nomination chair. You don't feel bad. You don't feel good. You feel like it's just a bed warmer. It's just
like you were
huge
supposed
bed
to do
warmer.
this.
Can we try and get hashtag Basic Becky going? Can that be like our goal? Like, can we just bring it up every episode, please?
Probably.
Can she be like our new logo for BB17?
You can be our mascot.
Yeah, she could be our mascot, Becky mascot.
We have to try and get her in for an interview.
Oh, Basic Becky. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Such an inspiration for us all. All right, well, I think that's enough of questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you catch Sunday's episode where we go through the HOH nominations as well as the Battle of the Block. You definitely want to make sure you catch that. And you also want to make sure you catch our recap for the show after the live show. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We live tweet during the episode. We love it when you tweet at us and just interact with us on Twitter. It's so much fun. You can follow us at Most Humble, at Jacob Harple, at Sarcastivities. You can also like us on Facebook, Big Brother Basics, and subscribe to our YouTube channel under the same name. Guys, Big Brother, it's here. It's starting. We're in the middle of the season. Or not the middle, it's the beginning. What's going on?
What's going on?
It's the BB takeover. I can't handle it. All right.
Takeover sound my ringtone.
Can you please not?
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
But
Okay, on that note, hashtag stay basic, Becky.
Stay Becky Basic.
All right, have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Hey.